you have any problems before you get to prison, once you're in prison, you're just going to get worse because of the isolation and because of the idleness.
Moral conviction is rarely fabricated.
I can't live in a space where we can just say, let's just accept the way that this has been.
Dean Williams and Amber Peterson both know it is a calling from deep within.
They're people, and we're people, so that's really what it comes down to. I know the personal toll that it can take on the family, as well as the community when you can't reach your loved one and ensure that they're safe.
Together, they help form policy for Colorado's Department of Corrections. Dean as executive director and Amber as an advisor who herself has experienced the exorbitant costs families sometimes pay to simply stay connected with their loved ones after her cousin went to prison.
Families often have to go into debt to maintain contact with their loved one. And they have to move money around in order to sustain that communication.
In 2015, the Ella Baker Center for Human Rights published a study that estimated that number is as high as 1 in 3 families who have a loved one in prison. Looking at the average cost of a 15-minute call in local jails across the country, it's not hard to see why.
We have a lot of users who are spending upwards of $500 a month just to stay connected. So it varies across the country.
Last year, Uzoma Orchingwa identified the issue and sought to fix it. He teamed up with a friend and created Ameelio, a video conferencing software that is circumventing the multi-billion-dollar prison communications industry.
So my idea was, rather than trying to negotiate and plead with these for-profit companies to reduce the cost of their calls, why don't we just build an alternative that's completely free?
Currently, the service has 200,000 users and has helped more than 400,000 people stay in touch. Last year, Ameelio teamed up with the Iowa Department of Corrections to make it available in every prison in the state. And starting in November, when holiday calls begin to peak, it will do the same in Colorado.
These are not well-to-do families in the first place, right? These are low income, these are working class people, but they are actually pushed over the edge by the cost of communication.
Wanda Bertram works for the Prison Policy Initiative and studies this issue among the many she says plague the prison industry. Private companies will negotiate rates with prisons in various states, and in all but 11, that state's Department of Corrections will receive a kickback of the revenue to help fund various costs. In Colorado, Director Williams says it goes to pay for those who monitor calls. To those on the outside, it can appear like this is a system built for companies to make money, and it is. But for families with loved ones on the inside, this system can be a way out. Research published in the Journal of Criminal Justice shows recidivism, or re-offending after release, dropped by 56% for those who were able to stay in touch with loved ones during their sentence.
Without that kind of contact, you lose all your connection to the outside world. And not only that, but your social connections get frayed to the point that when you come out of prison later, who do you have to call on, to get a contact to figure out where you're going to live, right? How do you get those connections that are going to get you a job?
In a system built on the principle of isolation, it is a path away from punishment and toward better outcomes.
I think it's really important that we don't contribute to the barriers of relationship building that, a prison sentence has already put in place.
I'm Dan Grossman.